Have you ever felt it? That haunting, almost mystical sense of déjà vu in every single one of your heartbreaks. That chilling, familiar spark of recognition in the eyes of a brand new lover who, for some inexplicable reason, feels ancient. You must understand, you are not simply repeating a tiresome, mundane pattern. You are, in fact, answering a sacred and deeply unconscious summons, a soul echo that has been meticulously dictating your destiny in the realm of love long before you ever had the chance to even whisper her name. This is not some cruel, random twist of fate. It is a divine, glowing signpost, a cosmic arrow pointing you directly toward a profound and life-altering awakening. The woman you find yourself so inexplicably and powerfully drawn to, the very one who seems to both complete and utterly destroy you, is not merely a person but a living, breathing phantoma, tangible embodiment of a spiritual blueprint that was etched into the very fabric of your soul from the moment of your birth. This is a truth that resonates at a frequency so deep within the masculine spirit, a gut feeling that something is fundamentally and tragically misaligned in the sacred dance between divine love and worldly power. If this sacred message is already beginning to stir something dormant within you, a subtle flicker of recognition in the most hidden chambers of your being, then you must know with absolute certainty that you are not, and have never been, alone. Your sacred journey of understanding, of true awakening, begins right here, right now. Acknowledge this powerful resonance, this undeniable pull of a higher, more profound truth, by letting us know in the comments below. Your personal story is a powerful testament to this universal human struggle, a vital and irreplaceable part of a massive collective awakening that is happening across the globe. We urge you to share your journey, to connect with your spiritual tribe, and to let your voice become a brilliant beacon of light for the countless others who are also courageously walking this challenging yet rewarding path. Let us now begin this sacred exploration into the heart of love and power together. Close your eyes for a moment, just for a moment. Bring to your mind's eye the image of her, the one that got away, the one whose memory still sends ripples through the calm waters of your soul. Can you see her? The ghost who still silently walks through the corridors of your dreams, a lingering fragrance on a pillow long since changed. Remember her laugh, the way it could light up a room and, in the same instant, shatter your defenses. Recall the specific, subtle way she tilted her head, a silent language you thought only you could understand. Why her? Out of the billions of souls on this planet, why does this one individual hold such a cosmic gravitational pull over your very essence? The ancient wisdom tells us it is because she perfectly fits a sacred mold, a mold not of your conscious, fleeting desires, but of something far deeper, something primal, something etched into your soul's DNA. This is the Anima, the divine feminine archetype that resides within you, an inner goddess or demon that you unconsciously project onto the women you meet. This projection is not a simple preference. It is a powerful spiritual compulsion, a destiny you feel you must fulfill. Consider the man raised by an emotionally distant, cold mother. Does he not spend his life unconsciously drawn to women who mirror that same icy enigma, mistaking the familiar ache of emotional neglect for the profound warmth of true love? He is trapped in a karmic loop, confusing the repetition of his childhood wound for the hand of destiny. And so the cycle, the painful, heart-wrenching cycle, continues, generation after generation. Look to the great conqueror, Napoleon Bonaparte, a man who commanded vast armies and reshaped the map of Europe, yet was utterly and completely enslaved by his soul's obsession with Josephine. She was a woman who betrayed him, manipulated him, and never returned the depth of love he projected onto her. Why did he remain shackled? Because Josephine was the perfect mirror for the deep-seated neglect of his own childhood. His anima was not a gentle muse guiding him to inspiration. It was a festering wound, a spiritual sickness that he mistook for the highest form of love. Every man carries these archetypes within him, these four divine stages of the feminine. First, there is Eve, the earthly mother, the nurturer, the symbol of pure instinctual connection. Then comes Helen, the enchantress, the siren, the embodiment of seductive, worldly beauty and conquest. After her is Mary, the vessel of spiritual love, the icon of virtue and sacred purity. And finally, there is Sophia, the ultimate wisdom, the divine feminine as a guide to the inner cosmos, a beacon of transcendent truth. But here lies the great tragedy of our times. Most men never spiritually evolve beyond the second stage. They become permanently trapped in the frequency of Helen, forever chasing the intoxicating illusion of physical beauty and sexual conquest, perpetually mistaking the desperate act of possession for the sacred act of love. This is the modern curse, a spiritual stagnation that keeps the masculine heart forever wandering in a desert of its own making. But what happens when this eternal feminine projection collides with its own shadow? What happens when the light you so desperately chase reveals a darkness you never knew existed? There is a force, a primal energy within the female psyche that most men rarely ever see or comprehend until it is far, far too late. It does not announce its arrival in whispered promises or tender love letters. It does not show itself in those intoxicating early days of infatuation, when her laughter is a symphony and her gaze holds the promise of entire universes. No, this force waits, it watches, it is patient. And when the moment is perfectly aligned, when you are at your most vulnerable, when you have laid down your spiritual armor and offered her your complete trust, your unwavering devotion, your deepest weakness, that is when it strikes. The mystics and sages of old called this the shadow, the repressed, unconscious aspect of the psyche that harbors everything we refuse to acknowledge about ourselves. In the feminine, this shadow often manifests as something ancient, something primal, a powerful survival mechanism cleverly disguised as love. And if you do not understand its nature, if you are not prepared for its emergence, it will, without a doubt, completely and utterly destroy you. Every single man has witnessed this force, even if he lacks the words or the courage to name it. It was the woman who was the very picture of sweetness and light until the moment she wasn't. It was the one who adored you, who placed you on a pedestal, until the very second she felt she had you, and the adoration turned to contempt. It was the one who wept crocodile tears when you finally walked away, even though she was the one who, through 1,000 subtle cuts, had pushed you out the door. Understand this. This is not random cruelty. It is not coincidence. It is pure, unadulterated instinct. For millennia, female survival has not depended on brute strength, but on strategy, on the masterful ability to read emotions, to manipulate alliances, and to secure protection from a stronger masculine force. And in this modern world, this ancient evolutionary wiring has not simply vanished, it has merely taken on new, more insidious forms. Think of Anne Boleyn, the enchantress who so thoroughly captivated King Henry VIII that he broke his entire nation away from its religion just to possess her. She was his everything, the sun around which his world revolved. And yet, when she failed to produce a male heir, when her influence began to wane and her power became precarious, what happened? The shadow emerged. The same lips that once whispered words of intoxicating love now leveled accusations of treason against innocent men. The same delicate hands that once held a king's affection now ruthlessly signed the death warrants of her rivals. And in the tragic end, not even she was spared from the destructive nature of the game she played. The executioner's sword fell, and King Henry, the man who had moved heaven and earth for her, simply married another woman within days. This is the shadow feminine. It is not evil. It is not even personal. It is survival. It is a primal force that will test you, probe you for weakness, and if it finds it, it will exploit it without mercy. For at its core, it is an energy that cannot and will not respect that which it can easily conquer. Now, you want to blame her, don't you? You want to point your finger at her fickleness, her cruelty, her sudden and inexplicable indifference. You want to remember the way she looked at you one day as if you were her entire world, and then the very next, as if you were a complete and utter stranger. It is so easy to call her heartless. It is so comforting to believe that she is the problem. But what if the real truth is far more terrifying? What if you, in your own unhealed state, actually invited this betrayal? Not consciously, of course, not deliberately, but through something far more insidious, far more potent, your own unhealed weakness. This is what the ancients called the wounded masculine, the part of a man that never truly grew up, the part that remains a lost boy, perpetually seeking the comfort of a mother in the arms of his lover. It is the part of you that confuses the sacred act of love with the desperate need for salvation. And this wound, this gaping hole in your spiritual armor, does not just hurt you, it acts as a magnetic beacon. It attracts the very women, the very experiences that will exploit it. Think back. When you first met her, what did you truly want? Be honest with your own soul. It wasn't just physical intimacy. Any man can find that. It wasn't merely companionship. Friends can provide that. No, you craved something deeper, didn't you? You desperately wanted to feel seen, to be chosen, to be needed. And that, right there, was your first and most critical mistake. Because love, for a man who is whole, for a man aligned with his divine purpose, should never be about filling a void. Yet most men today do not seek women. They seek healers. They seek the feminine to soothe their unspoken, unhealed wounds. The wound left by the father who was never there, leaving an empty throne in the heart of his son. The wound left by the mother who smothered him with her own anxieties, never allowing him to forge his own strength. The wound left by a world that never made him feel like he was enough. And you must understand this universal law. Women can smell this neediness like sharks smell blood in the water. Studies on the deep currents of attraction reveal a staggering truth. Women are subconsciously and powerfully repelled by emotional dependency in men. They may nurture it for a short time, they may even enjoy the sense of power it gives them, but eventually, inevitably, they will come to despise it. Because a man who needs external validation is a man who cannot lead, and a woman, at the most primal level of her being, cannot truly respect what she cannot look up to. This is precisely why the nice guys so often finish last. It is not because women are inherently cruel, but because desperation, that low-frequency vibration of lack, is the ultimate anti-seductive force. Your unhealed wounds, your inner child's desperate pleas for love, did not inspire her devotion. They triggered her contempt. She did not break your heart. She simply reflected back to you the ways in which your own heart was already broken. This is the bitter pill you must swallow if you ever wish to be free. The betrayal you experienced was not an attack, but a divine lesson, a mirror held up to the parts of yourself you have refused to heal. You were promised love. You were told that if you simply worked hard, if you were kind and gentle, if you treated women with the utmost respect, you would be rewarded with unwavering devotion and loyalty. You were led to believe that relationships were partnerships built on a foundation of fairness. You were lied to. Modern love is not broken. It has been meticulously and deliberately designed this way. A silent spiritual war has been waged against masculine purpose, against the sacred bonds that once held men and women together in divine union, against the very idea of lifelong, unconditional commitment. And the casualties of this war are everywhere. They are the divorced fathers who gave everything and were left with nothing. They are the entire generation of boys raised without strong masculine role models, destined to repeat the painful cycle of their forefathers. This is not an accident. This is a design. And at the root of this design is a system that has engineered male loneliness. It begins with a feminized education system, where the natural, fiery energy of boys is pathologized, medicated, and suppressed. Boys are taught to sit still, to obey, to muzzle their primal instincts, effectively being trained from a young age to disconnect from their own masculine core. Then, this is reinforced by a culture that demonizes true masculinity. The very traits that built civilization's aggression, competitiveness, the drive to conquer are now labeled as toxic. Men are shamed for their inherent nature, creating a generation that is afraid of its own power. And into this vacuum comes the commodification of intimacy. Pornography rewires the male brain, replacing genuine connection with empty stimulation. Platforms like OnlyFans turn the sacred act of union into a monthly subscription. Men no longer earn love, they pay for a fleeting illusion of it. The result? A generation of men who do not know how to be men, and a generation of women who are both repulsed by this weakness and simultaneously taught to exploit it. This is why the modern legal system has become a treacherous minefield for men. Marriage is no longer a sacred covenant, but a risky financial contract where men are presumed guilty from the start. No-fault divorce, initially sold as liberation, simply opened the floodgates for women who initiate 70% of divorcees exit a union with no accountability, often taking with them a man's assets, his children, and his future. The state has effectively become the new husband, enforcing alimony and child support, a lifetime of payment for a love that was never real. This was never about equality. It was about a transfer of power, a systematic dismantling of the masculine spirit, leaving men isolated, confused, and utterly alone. But you can survive this war. You can win this game, not by playing it better, but by refusing to play at all. Here is how you heal the wound and reclaim your sovereign power. First, you must see the game for what it is. You must shatter the illusion that love is fair or that she thinks like you. Her love is conditional. Her loyalty is earned every single day. And if you fail to maintain your frame, if you show even a flicker of that neediness we spoke of, her primal, shadow nature will sense it, and it will take over. Second, you must hold unshakable boundaries. The moment you allow disrespect, just once, you teach her that it is acceptable. The shadow respects only strength. It mercilessly exploits weakness. You must be the rock, the unmovable mountain against which the storms of her emotions can crash, but never erode. Third, you must reclaim your divine masculine purpose. The world does not need more passive consumers. It needs builders, creators, warriorsmen, who create, who fight for what they believe in, who refuse to be domesticated by a system designed to soften them. Your purpose must be the sun in your solar system, and your relationships the planets that orbit it, not the other way around. A man without a mission is a target for every parasite. Let love be a welcome companion on your journey, but never let it become the destination itself. Fourth, you must build brotherhood. Women will come and go. That is the nature of this realm. But a true brotherhood, a tribe of men who would walk through fire for one another that is eternal. Find your tribe. Forge those bonds. For it is in the company of strong men that you will remember your own strength. And finally, you must learn to love from a place of abundance, not lack. A man who needs nothing attracts everything. Build a life so full, so rich with purpose and passion, that a woman becomes a beautiful addition, not a desperate salvation. Real, authentic love still exists in this world, but it is earned, not begged for. It is chosen, not taken. And it will never, ever be found in the ruins of a system that is designed to break you. This is the end, but only of this one part of your journey. The real work, the sacred work of your awakening, begins right now. If this truth resonates with you, if you are ready to stop playing a rigged game and start reclaiming your divine power, then declare your awakening in the comments below. Drop awaken and let your journey to sovereignty truly begin.